Football, you approach in a very deliberate manner week after week after week. You are immersed in it. It is your life. You have a way of doing things. When you bet these other sports, let's take hockey, for instance, because I was making this point. I don't know if I made it on a numbers game, but I certainly made it on primetime, which is not all of this has to be splitting the atom, right? We're betting sports. Let's not take ourselves that seriously on everything. So I'll bet tennis a certain way, probably as seriously as you'll bet football, right? I have a way of doing it. It's numbers based. I crunch them. I come up with a number. I compare it to the actual line. It's very systematic. But hockey, great example. You're not a lifelong fan, but
I'm
you're not
from Hockey Town.
You're from Hockey Town. You're from Pizza Town, as you call it now. But you're not like a guy who you're just as easy, like the first periods have been stone cold unders on these, right? Like, will you just casually latch onto something? Because I say in baseball, I'm like, baseball to me used to be this really cerebral activity. Now it's like, well, the overcompensation on these totals is such that I'll just make auto bets, right? I'm like, plus 155 on a yes being scored in the first inning. I don't even have to know the details. I'm betting it. Do you do that with some of these other sports?
No, but what I'm doing is I'm working with other people. So there's anybody that tells you that they can do it on their own and do all these sports, they're lying or there's something they're not telling you. So I'm trying to form working partnerships with people in these various sports, which is helping me out. And I'm actually finding I'm helping them out also because they do a lot of things really well. And then I can kind of show them what they're missing, too, which is kind of neat. It's surprising. Basically, there's generational gaps on basically learning how to read the market, for example. Very smart guys I work with, but market reading is kind of not in their wheelhouse. So it feels good to kind of mentor people on how to read the market because reading the market, in my opinion, is just as important as the actual handicap.
Well, this was Elihu Feustel, who was at Bet Bash 2. I moderated a panel that he was on. He was on a numbers game. Maybe the single smartest sports bettor I've ever encountered in my life. And he says exactly what you just did, which is he wants to be the guy who crunches the number and is the data analyst. He doesn't want to be the guy who places the bets and looks for the best prices or the guy that is, any other aspect of sports betting, right? He doesn't want to be the guy that's, analyzing players on the, I don't know. He just wants to be a numbers guy. And he feels like that's, if you can trust the people doing the other stuff, that is clearly the best way to do it. Now, not everybody has that ability, right? Not everybody has a network of people that they can sort of rely on to do that. Let me reverse that with you, though, for football, where you've always been the guy. Do you sort of have a different attitude about that with football? Football, you like to do it all yourself?
Oh, for NFL is 100% me. I don't care if the market moves against me.
Right.
Because my track history is actually better when the market moves against me for some reason. I just want to know where the number is going. And I've tried to form relationships. I've reached out to, notable NFL people and met a brick wall. I don't know what it is about, other people. I don't care what they're betting.
Yeah.
I could care less. There's a 0% chance that what they're betting is going to influence what I do. I just want to work with other people on where the market's going to go so that I can bet it when I want to bet it and somebody moves this frickin' market one way or another. Because babysitting these lines, 24/7, it's just miserable. It really is.
That's about as good of a lesson as anybody listening could grab today. And it's not necessarily what we spend most of our time talking about because we got to fill it with talking about this team does this team does that. But from a sports betting standpoint, that might be the best.